Hello and welcome back to The Abstract. Today we'll be describing for you the classic 1998 movie Small Soldiers. What happens when the military puts the intelligence of rootless war criminals into children's toys? Watch to the end to find out. The only thing we love more than movies is you. Please subscribe. Globotech is a military technology and weapons manufacturer who decided to start expanding their business, making consumer family products. Heartland Play Systems is a company purchased by Globotech. We meet Erwin, a clumsy toy designer, and Larry, a realistic, self-centered thinking man. They meet the CEO of Globotech and are told that everyone except them were fired, and they need to give a pitch for new toys to keep their jobs. The clumsy Erwin ruins his pitch when he mentions that kids will use his toys, the Gorgonites, to learn. Larry does the opposite, introducing us to Major Chip Hazard, a commando elite soldier. The CEO, however, gets mad when told that the toys can't do what they do in the commercial, and wants to add microchips into the toys to make them actually talk and move. Also deciding that the Gorgonites are the perfect enemy for Chip and his team to hunt down. Erwin isn't happy, as the Gorgonites are friendly and claims it's too violent, to which the CEO responds, "Then don't call it violent, call it action. Kids love action," and ends off saying, "What are you worried about? They're only toys." Larry uses his new power working for Globotech to find a large amount of microchips to put into toys, but only finds military-grade chips, the X-1000. Erwin wanted 6 months for testing. Larry talks over Erwin that 3 months is enough time. 3 months later, the toys are made and shipped out. We transition to a small town. We meet a boy named Alan, who is running his father's toy shop while he's out of town. We are also introduced to Joe. Joe and Alan seem to have a good relationship, and we find out that the toy store doesn't make a lot of money, and that Alan's father has a strict no violent toys policy. Alan asks about the new Gorgonites and Commando Elites, asking Joe to pretend that they went missing in shipping and let him sell the toys at his own store so they can finally make some money, confident that they'll sell quickly. Joe allows it and heads off. Soon after, a girl, Christy, and her little brother, Timmy, come into the store. The kid is disappointed because he wanted to go to the bigger Toys World, but ends up stumbling onto Chip Hazard and the Gorgonite known as Archer having a fight. While this happens, Alan and Christy talk. It is clear that Alan likes Christy, and it seems she might like him as well. But Timmy interrupts them with excitement, wanting to buy Chip and the Archer. However, when they enter the room, Chip and the Archer are missing, but Alan promises to save one for Timmy as they head out. Alan sees Christy meet and kiss a man on a bike, presumably her boyfriend, much to the disappointment of Alan. He collects the toys before realizing his father forgot his plane ticket at work, and rushes home to give it to him so he is not caught selling the violent toys. At home, we meet Alan's parents, Stuart and Irene. We learn that Stuart does not like technology and is upset at the neighbors, Christy's parents, for wanting to cut a tree blocking their satellite. Alan returns home moments later to give his father the plane ticket, then going to his room to finish homework. When he finds that the Archer Gorgonite made its way into his backpack, then, while speaking to it, it says his name, but then goes quiet, making Alan think he was just hearing things. We cut to the store and the commando breaks his way out of the box, just like in the commercials from before. He commands the other soldiers to prepare to fight the Gorgonites, saying there will be no mercy. We cut back to Alan's house. The Archer uses Alan's computer while he sleeps to learn all about the humans, and when Alan notices and questions him, he tells him not to pretend to be dumb and to prove his intelligence. The Archer does so, and then we cut back to the commando, giving a speech about destroying the Gorgonites. This activates one of them, and the commando gives order to attack. Alan comes to the shop the next day to see the aftermath of chaos. Christy comes to pick up those toys, but Alan says they were robbed. Christy still wants to come in and offers to help fix up the place. Then, they have a good bonding experience talking about shows and bands they like. During this, we find out that Alan was a troublemaker and got expelled from 2 different schools. They clean up the shop just in time as Alan's father returns, and gets mad when one of the main set pieces of the store is destroyed. Alan leaves and the soldiers are watching him. They send a man after him to take out the archer, but he is unsuccessful, being damaged in the process. He is patched up and then they find Alan's house. Alan calls customer support, complaining about the toys destroying his dad's shop. Later, Erwin gets informed about the call made about the toys and tells Larry. Larry thinks the kid is overreacting and lying, as the toys haven't been released yet. Den says they can't be dangerous because they have standard parts, except for the microchips. They then find out those were made for the Department of Defense, meaning they put munitions chips in toys. Back at the house, the soldiers get in the house and let out a fake distress call pretending to be Gorgonites to capture the archer and lure him away from Alan. Alan awakens to see the archer about to be destroyed and saves him, getting injured in the process and waking up his parents. He tells them the truth, but they think that he's been smoking the good stuff and don't believe him. And the archer doesn't speak, as Alan told him not to speak earlier. Then, when the archer does speak, he mentions that some of the Gorgonites must be alive and hiding, because if they were all destroyed, the soldiers wouldn't be looking for all of them. They find them hiding in the trash can in the back, and they fix the broken Gorgonite from before. Meanwhile, Larry and Erwin go to talk to the producers of the microchips and learn that the chips don't have artificial intelligence, but real intelligence, and that any problems with the chips is from programming, because it takes what is programmed to learn and enhance the base programming. They also find out that these chips are weak against EMPs. Back at Alan's house, the Gorgonites are messing around when he gets a call from Christy. They flirt a little, and then we cut to the soldiers using the workshop in the house of the technology-loving neighbors to make weapons. This is also Christy's house, and one of the soldiers was spying on them by listening into their phone call and hearing him and Christy. They realize he likes her, and so they want to use her to lure him and the Gorgonites out. The soldiers use catapults to toss sleeping pills into the drinks of the parents, and restrain Timmy. They also ask the commando if they can woohoo with some of Christy's fully posable dolls. The commando rejects their request, and then pulls the microchip from the destroyed soldier that Alan took out, to make a machine to make the dolls come to life and become soldiers. Christy then comes home to see the Frankenstein-like madness in her room. They restrain her, and hearing her screams, the man who is her not official boyfriend attempts to save her before being attacked and falling down the stairs. He then runs away instead of helping her. The soldiers then record a hostage video for Alan, telling him to give up the Gorgonites for the safe release of Christy. Alan then prepares for war, putting the Gorgonites in a box as bait while sending Archer through the chimney to unlock the back door for him. Archer helps Christy while Alan gets attacked. They attack the dolls while Archer hides. The soldiers decide to blow up the box with the Gorgonites inside, but it turns out it was just a radio looping the Gorgonites begging to be freed. Christy, happy that Alan rescued her, kisses him, and they escape. But the soldiers were prepared and rushed them with vehicles with weapons attached, such as a chainsaw, nail guns, and even a flamethrower. They go into a high-speed chase before the soldiers are destroyed, blown up by their own weapons, except we see Chip floating down a river, coming across the Toys World store mentioned before. Advertising commandos. We see Joe there, and he's collecting toys as they have been recalled. Christy's parents are complaining to Alan's parents that he drugged them and tied up Timmy, but Christy and Alan explain that it was the toys. They don't believe it until Erwin and Larry arrive to meet with Alan about his customer service message. Alan's father punches Larry in the face because, quite frankly, he's an annoying idiot. Erwin talks to the Gorgonites and realizes their intelligence. Then, the soldiers prepare to attack, starting with cutting power to the house. Chip is now commanding hundreds of soldiers. Christie's father tries to negotiate peace, but they say there will be no mercy and start playing Wannabe by the Spice Girls. The families shelter themselves from the attacks and prepare a plan to fight back. Erwin and Larry remember that an EMP would destroy the chips, and so they hatch a plan to create and set off an EMP. Erwin, Larry, and Christy escape while Alan and his father attack. And the Archer motivates the Gorgonites to fight back. Alan goes to climb an electrical tower when Chip attacks from a helicopter. The Gorgonites help, but that just causes Chip to jump out and attack Alan with his knife. That's when Archer finally powers up his bow. Archer launches himself to the tower and fights Chip. Archer loses but distracts Chip for long enough to have Alan use him as the metal connection on the tower for the EMP. The tower explodes and the toys fall one by one. Chip is defeated. Alan and Christy also confirm their relationship. The next morning, Globotech is quick to try and clean up the mess made, and they pay off everyone so they don't form a lawsuit. Larry apologizes to the CEO, but the CEO is happy and plans to make more of the toys as soldiers for freedom fighters and charge hundreds of thousands of dollars for them. Alan and Christy kiss goodbye, and Alan goes to search for the Gorgonites, finding them under a satellite dish where they were protected from the EMP. Alan takes the boat from his father's toy store and sets the Gorgonites off to the river so they can find their homeland, Gorgon. Thank you for watching Movie Abstract. We hope we've helped you in experiencing this if you could not before. If you've made it this far, please help us and subscribe, leave a like, and hit that bell icon. We really need it. See you in another video, and take care.